There's a story that says Earth is a prison, not a metaphorical one, a literal soul trap. According to that version of reality, when you die, you don't go to some open cosmic playground. You get tricked, recycled, sent back into another human life over and over, while something unseen feeds on your emotions. But then there's another teaching that says the complete opposite. It says you are the one creating this entire experience. Your beliefs, your expectations, your focus, literally shaping the world around you. So which is it? Are we inmates or creators? In this episode, we're going to open the first thread of this 10-part journey and sit right at the crossroads between two very different voices. A supposed alien being named El, who described Earth as a soul farm, and an entity called Seth, who insisted that you create your own reality from the inside out. Two maps of the same place, two totally different roles for you. Somewhere between those extremes, there might be a bigger picture. Before we go any further, a quick note. Everything you're about to hear is speculative, philosophical, and exploratory. You're not asked to believe any of it. You're just invited to think with it, feel into it, and decide for yourself. Let's start with El. The story comes from the Roswell mythology. In one version of events, a nurse allegedly interviewed a surviving being from the crash in 1947. According to the account, Al didn't describe Earth as some random blue marble floating in space. It described Earth as a prison planet. In that telling, human beings aren't just bodies. We're immortal consciousness, souls who have been captured and confined here. Not just physically, but energetically. Here's the core of that idea. When a human dies, their soul is met by a false light show or a fake afterlife mechanism. That system tricks them into choosing another incarnation on Earth. Memory gets wiped. The soul is sent back into a new body, carrying unresolved trauma and emotional weight. From that perspective, life on Earth is not an open-world adventure. It's a loop. And inside that loop, something feeds on the emotional output, especially fear, pain, shame, and despair. Some people call that harvested emotion loosh, like a subtle energy currency that negative entities feed on. This prison planet idea lines up with older Gnostic myths about archons, hidden rulers of this realm who keep souls ignorant, stuck in cycles of suffering so they never remember who they really are. In that model, war, poverty, disease, and constant conflict aren't just accidents. They're features of the prison, tools to generate emotional energy and keep us from waking up. It's a dark framework. Under El's lens, you are not really here to learn lessons or manifest your dreams. You're here because something wants you contained and miserable enough to keep generating fuel. Is that literally true? Symbolic? A psyop? Pure fiction? We don't know. But even as a symbol, it hits hard. Because so much of human history does look like a very organized machine of suffering. And that's where the next voice crashes in and flips the table. On the opposite side of the spectrum, we have Seth. In the late 1960s and 70s, a woman named Jane Roberts began channeling an entity who identified itself as Seth. Over time, Seth delivered thousands of pages of material about the nature of consciousness and reality. Seth's central message can be boiled down to one sentence. You create your own reality. Not in a shallow Instagram quote way, but as a literal description of how existence works. According to Seth, consciousness is primary. Matter is the result of consciousness, not the source of it. Your beliefs, emotions, and expectations are like code, and the physical world is the rendered output. The events of your life, the people you meet, even the random stuff that happens to you. All of it is said to be a reflection of your inner state and your deeper choices, including ones you made before you were even born. Seth also introduced a big idea about time, past, present, and future, all happening simultaneously. We only experience them in a line because our senses and brain are tuned that way. Imagine a movie file on your hard drive. The whole movie is there at once, but you can only watch it frame by frame. Seth says reality is like that, except you're not just watching the movie. You're also writing it, editing it, and choosing which version to play. That leads into probable realities. Every choice you could make exists as a potential timeline. Different versions of you explore those different timelines. The version you experience as your life is determined by the combination of your beliefs, focus, and emotional state. So from the Seth perspective, you're not stuck in some external prison with no say. You're inside a kind of multi-dimensional sandbox where your inner vibration decides which version of Earth you stand in. If you change your beliefs, heal your emotions, and choose differently, you don't just improve your mood, you literally jump tracks into a different reality stream that matches the new you. In that framework, you're not a battery being farmed. You're a powerful creator playing a very convincing game of limitation and forgetting. Seth's tone isn't "you're powerless, everything is rigged." It's the opposite. You're so powerful that even your sense of being powerless is something you created and can uncreate. So now we're sitting between two stories. Story A. You're a prisoner in a soul farm, deceived by fake afterlife machinery and exploited for your emotional energy. Story B. You're an aspect of a larger consciousness, choosing every experience and literally generating the reality you walk through. At first, they seem totally incompatible. One makes you a victim, the other makes you a creator. But what if they're describing different layers of the same thing? Think about a video game. On one level, your character is trapped in a dungeon, locked in, limited, forced to fight monsters and solve puzzles. On another level, you, the player, chose to buy the game, turn it on, pick hard mode, and go into that dungeon in the first place. If we borrow that analogy, then the Ailes Prison Planet narrative could be the in-game perspective. The feeling of being trapped in a rigged system with hostile entities running it. The Seth perspective could be the out-of-game perspective. The remembering that you're more than the avatar, and that, on some level, you chose to come here. There's also a third voice, Lacerta, the alleged reptilian being who said physical reality is an illusion generated inside a larger field of consciousness. She described our universe as a kind of Feldraum, a field space, a layered field where mind, body and soul exist in nested levels. That idea actually bridges Ale and Seth. Reality is a constructed field, so yes, it can be hacked, controlled, or used as a prison. But it's also made of consciousness, and beings who understand the field can navigate or change it more freely. Seen that way, we're not just prisoners, and we're not just gods. We're players inside a game that has been rigged in certain ways, but that still contains loopholes, upgrades, and exit doors. That also reframes the whole loosh farm idea. If emotional energy is a kind of currency in this reality, then yes, darker entities might try to harvest fear and pain. But higher levels of reality might be nourished by love, creativity, compassion just as much. The question becomes less, am I being harvested? And more, what am I feeding with my energy? And do I want to keep feeding that? So let's bring this down from the cosmic balcony back into your living room. What changes if you even entertain the possibility that there might be control systems in place, psychological, energetic, maybe even interdimensional, that benefit from you being afraid, exhausted, and confused, and at the same time, you still have an inner point of power that nothing can touch. Your ability to choose how you respond, what you focus on, and what you believe about yourself. Taking responsibility for your inner state, examining your beliefs, listening to your intuition, and practicing small daily acts of love and creativity aren't just self-care. They're acts of reality editing. You may not be able to instantly change the whole world, but you can absolutely shift the slice of reality you inhabit. And if enough people do that, maybe the entire farm stops working as designed. But for episode 1, I'll leave you with a simple question. If both are true, that there are systems trying to keep you small, and that you still have the power to shape your reality from within, which truth are you going to live from? Because even if Earth is a prison where the door is unlocked still rewards the ones who realize they can stand up, turn the handle, and walk into something bigger.